Alright, so I wanted to go over like my top 10 games of all time at the moment for me. Um and I'll start going from the bottom to the top, so from 10 to 1. Um Number 10 on my top 10 list of games for me would be Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Um I really enjoyed the naval combat, the sailing, and like the environment. Um, the story itself's okay. It's not fantastic, but um, I really like Kenway as a character. Um, and I just love the fact that he didn't really become an assassin. He still a pirate through and through. Um, and I don't know. I really like that. Like his character progression and everything is great. Um, I just I think a lot of the game is really great though. Um, sea shanties were amazing. And that is why it's my number 10. Number 9 for me will be God of War 2018. Actually, like uh, my full first God of War game that I went through fully and played. When I was growing up, I would play the demo discs that would get sent out with some games or with magazines, right? And one of the demo disc games had God of War 2, 1, whichever one has Kratos fighting the Hydra in the beginning. Um, is the one I played the demo of, and so playing 2018 really changed the perspective of what God of War used to be. In my mind, granted, I never played a full game before of it. And I felt like it was a really great, it had a fantastic story. I love Nordic mythology and like storytelling. So it being in a Nordic setting was great. I really enjoyed that. Um, his weapon choices of the axe and then gaining his blades of chaos in the later half of the game was like a really defining moment and really um pushed Kratos as a character and his character development. Um I love I really liked Atreus. He was very his character development was really good. He's just a kid who just lost his mom and he try and figure out uh what he's supposed to do. He's going on this journey with his father. Um it was very touching. Um the combat in it was great. I really liked the kind of over the shoulder combat. The RPG elements of crafting armor, finding like boons and stuff like that in the form of like uh what was it? I forget. Not Yeah, just boons. Um for your gear and stuff like that. Really added a lot to the game and I really liked it. And it would be no surprise that my number 8 would be God of War Ragnarok for very much the same reasons. Um, Atreus is more fleshed out. Um, you can tell that the world isn't happy with what's happened to Baldur. Whoever, it's been like 2 years since I played. Um, you just know the world's going to shit. Um, and you can tell that through the environment and like the fact that it's like a never-ending winter. Um, and like how Atreus has developed as a character. He's gotten older. He's entering. as a teenager, so he's trying to like doing the teenager things, rebelling against his father more, doing things on his own. Um, he knows he's a god now, and that kind of shapes his mentality a little bit. And Kratos is still trying like guide his son, and but also at the same time support his son in the fact that his son's capable, but still being like worried because it's his son. Um, and all the twists and turns in the story of Ragnarok, where they actually, instead of saving who they thought they were saving, they saved uh it was Odin in disguise. And when he showed himself and killed Brock, which changed how Sindri acted. Like, I don't know, and they further touched on the RPG elements. It was really funny. When you first go see Brock and Sindri again, and they're like, "What did you do with all the legendary armor and shit we made for you?" He's like, "I used it." um, they 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 didn't try and like come up some weird like bullshit like deep power scaling. They were just like, he used up all his stuff. Like it's been well worn at this point. Now he needs some new stuff again. Um, I didn't like Atreus' segments as much because his were really long, but um, I still really like and love the game. That's why it's still in my top 10. Um, Number 7 for me is Borderlands 2. I grew up sinking a ton of hours into the first Borderlands, and then when Borderlands 2 it came out, it was like such a refinement on the first game. The characters were more interesting. The playable characters were great. I played the Gunzerker. It was my go-to. Uh, but like the biggest thing for me was the time spent with my dad, playing it and playing it with my uncle and a buddy of ours. We just put a ton of hours all the time. I remember staying up late at night with my dad and my uncle playing Borderlands 2, sitting in Moxie's bar, just gambling for like 4 hours straight before actually like going after some of the end game bosses for a chance at some specific loot. Um, and then like going through the DLCs when they drop and everything like that. I just know, like my badass level in that game was quite high, but not as high as my dad's. He put so much time into that game, but it's definitely a game that has sat with me for quite a long time. Um, Played a big part in shaping what kind of games I like to play. Um, Number 6 for me would be Diablo 3. Again, I spent a lot of time playing it with my dad. Um, and then after that, there was just like a good period in high school. I spent like a solid year just playing through Diablo 3, grinding out riffs, listening to music, going through playing, gain every character to level 70, going through gain every character to level 70 in hardcore. Uh, I just sunk so much time in that game. Um, Sadly, it doesn't represent because my hours glitched out on my time played for Xbox, and it doesn't accurately show how much time I spent on it. But I would dare say quite a few thousand hours. Um, and then for number 5 for me would be Dark Souls 3. Um, I really the first Dark Souls game I played was Dark Souls 2. Um, I would say Dark Souls 2 is my favorite out of the trilogy, but I think number 3 kind of just beats it. Um, For me, number two is only kind of my favorite just out of nostalgia and the fact that it's the first Dark Souls game I played and actively beat. Because I played Dark Souls 1 when I was younger and I just didn't understand what I had to be doing, where I had to go. Um, the like hands off storytelling kind of threw me off. And I didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing. But I don't know how that's any better because Dark Souls 2 is even more hands off and more confusing. But granted, I had like a 2 or 3 year gap before I played Dark Souls 2. Um, I remember beating it um in like a two 2 weekend period. So I re-rented the game from um the video store. Um, the next weekend I was at my dad's and I beat it then. Um, but Dark Souls 3, it just again just a further refinement on the series. Um, and they brought they had some like they brought back Anolondo. Walking up and it being Anolondo really was like such a moment for me. Um, and I don't know, I really liked the story in Dark Souls 3. The DLC in Dark Souls 3 was fantastic. Um, especially the final one, fighting Gale at the end. Hardest, hardest fight in that game, and it's also the game I spent most time on of the trilogy. I put a ton of hours. I did a bunch of challenge runs. Um, this was all pre YouTube for me, like starting my YouTube channel, and um, I was still in high school. I only started this when I finally moved out of my mom's. Um, but I had a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the game. I collected every weapon, every armor piece, every consumable item, every ring, every spell, every thing I could get. I did it all and I loved it. It was the only one I like 100% um and got every achievement I went through multiple times. Um Granted my achievement glitched out and I didn't get the like um was it I think the miracle achievement, but again it's on my list. Number 4 for me, 7 Days to Die. It's been a game that I've played ever since it hit beta on Xbox. It was on Xbox as a game. Played it on Xbox first. Watched a ton of YouTube of the PC version, wishing I could play it on PC. And then um my my friend Tim, he got it on PC. He got a gaming PC set up over COVID. And when I finally moved on my mom's place and got an apartment with my wife, I I randomly went to Target and bought myself a gaming laptop. I just I had to get my hands on the PC version, and I've sunk tons of hours since. Um, I actually think it's my one game I put the most hours in on PC. 270 hours. Um, there's another way to sort this. I'd show it. My name. Like, yeah. 270 hours in. Played a bunch with my buddy. I think my buddy has more time on this game. Yeah, double. He's been playing on Xbox more than anything now. But I really love how it went from beta to full release now. Um, it's definitely a game that was touched up on for years to perfect it to what it is now. And I really love the story it tells, and the sense of like, um, it came from nothing and now it's here, you know, and it's great. Um, I really love I loved Minecraft growing up, and this touches that, but it's an adult Minecraft. That's the best way to put it. I really like the zombies and how everything like plays in that. I love the base building, the survivability. I love the concept of on the seventh night you get attacked by a horde of zombies, or you get attacked by a horde whenever you pick what horde night is. Um, but I don't know. I had a lot of good memories with this game. It's spooky at times. It gets crazy at times. Oh, this is a fun like little looter. You know, go in, loot stuff. Um, I don't know, just bashing in heads is great. For me, for my number three, No Man's Sky. I have no brainer. I've been playing it again a lot, especially with the World's Put 2 update that just came out. Um, I didn't play it when it first released because I saw how bad it was. I was super stoked for it. Thought the game idea was great. I ended up picking it up after a few updates on Xbox. Played a bunch of it. Um, Played a lot with my friend Tim again. You know, talked to Tim. It's been a minute. But I've just been sinking in time with that game over the years. Started a bunch of worlds, deleted a bunch of saves, stuff like that. I was just spend a lot of time on it, and I don't know, just chill vibes. And it's a good old fun time, honestly. Flying through space, exploration, alien creatures, building your base, building farms, not farms, um, decorating, everything about it is great, and like upgrading your ship. It just really pushes the boundaries of exploration, and I like it a lot because of that. And that's why it's my number three. Number two, Elden Ring. Kind of a no-brainer. Elden Ring is amazing. It's 10 out of 10 game. I really love um like the epitome of Dark Souls and a little bit of Bloodborne. I think Elden Ring has a faster um gameplay than um other Souls games, but less fast paced than Bloodborne. I think that's kind of like how I would place it. Um, but as everything from software has learned and put forth, story is fantastic. The boss fights are epic. The world exploration is amazing. The fact is, an open world game at all, you can choose what direction. There's so many hidden secrets, hidden things you don't know, and then you learn. It's crazy. The weapon variety is amazing. Every weapon feels different for the most part. There's a few like every some lawn swords just feel like every other lawn sword, but like there's some special weapons that you're like, man, this is awesome. This moveset is crazy. The spell work, um, build diversity, then the DLC for it that just came out, amazing. Shadow of the Erd Tree blew me out of the water. It's honestly one of the best DLCs ever made. Um, and I think that um, like it's just peak of gaming. Um, and I loved going through the game a few times. But You might be a bit surprised that it's not number one for me. Um, or you might be surprised by my number one pick. But my number one pick will be Skyrim. That's my top dog right there. That's the game I've played forever. And I still play. I can't get enough of playing. I've played that for years now. From when it first came out. Granted, I didn't fully, but I didn't play it when it first came out. I think I was like a few months later or like a year later. My dad was playing it one day. I asked, I was like, "Oh, what game is this?" And he's like, "Skyrim." And I was like, "Oh, what's that?" And then, yeah, yeah. And then I think I played his character for a bit while he was sleeping one night, and I don't know, I just fell in love with it. And then so I had to buy it. I bought it for myself, and I think I sunk like 3,000 hours into it on Xbox 360 alone. And then I remember it coming out again, right, on for Xbox One. I snuck out to go to the gas station to buy NOS. Um, I was like, I need the strongest energy drink I could get. I got two tall ones, and I pulled all nighter. I had school the next day. Um, so I stayed up till midnight for it to release, downloaded it. Then I played and sunk maybe 4 hours into it, and then I had to go to school. I went to school, came home, sunk more hours into it. I at It's just one game that I bought it on my Switch, I bought it on my PlayStation, I bought it on PC. I'm just finishing up trying to get all the achievements on my PC version, so I can like just play mods, um, really only. And it's just I've been having a blast, and I will always have a blast with Skyrim. I love the storytelling. I love the freedom. It's the like first RPG that I felt like I could actually role play and have a good time. And like the loot, the um the DLCs for the game were fantastic. I love the Dragonborn DLC. I love Hearthfire. Dawn God, eh. But like Dawn God added skill trees for being a vampire and a werewolf, so that was pretty cool. Granted, those skill trees are kind of shit. Um, but the Hearthfire, being able to build your own home, fill it with your trophies you've collected, um, through your travels and whatnot, I fell in love with it, and I still can't get enough of the game. Anytime I have free time, like on my Steam Deck, if I'm not streaming or if I'm just laying in bed with my wife while she's trying to fall asleep and I'm still not tired yet, I'll play Skyrim. It's a game I'll sink a few more hours into, and I'll continue to sink hours into Skyrim. I don't think I'll ever stop. And honestly, that's why it's my number one. Probably forever will be. But thank you for sticking around for my top 10. I do have a top 20 that I'll probably do at some point. I already have the list made. I'll just go over the next 10 games. Um, from 20 my top 20th game to my top 11th. I won't really repeat my top 10s. I'll just like run through like, these are the top 10 and go watch my other video to see my explanation. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. I will catch you guys next time.